Although I have to say, it was funny, and I even told my fiance this. When I first watched you guys playing Dread, I looked at this, and it's like, a ritual... Dread for a ritual pasta. Why didn't I think of that?
That would be good. And that would be scary at the same time. I can imagine you inputs like, if you're able to keep it steady, you get something. If you don't, you're dead.
So, okay, something to look forward to. We'll do in the future since you guys are game. And again, folks, we'll put in the links for you, but definitely check out their video of doing Dread. It's a great game, and it's a fun session. I enjoyed the heck out of watching you.
Awesome.
Let's see. Okay, so do you have any rituals? I saw that you did the narration of the gambler, and you were planning on doing that one as well. Was I correct in understanding that?
It's the dealer. I know that there's also one that's the gambler too.
Yeah, I got the names mixed up.
Yeah. But yeah, we did. That was something I thought I'd try. Is, put the narration out of the ritual and then doing the ritual. That one actually that one actually has been filmed already. I just had to edit it together.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So obviously he didn't die. So that's good.
Spoiler.
That one was just interesting because we live right near Old Town Sac, and we both been to that store.
Oh, is that what that one's called?
Yeah, that's the one where it's in front of Evangeline's.
You got lost.
Yeah, that's another story all the time. But yeah, it's like we live right nearby, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm interested in this, so that seems like a good one to go check out, especially because it's local.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. But you look at half of them, and it's like, go to this one street in Canada. It's like, well, that doesn't do me any good. I don't live in Canada.
Hey,
no, it's like, well, I'm out.
Just saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories.
You are right here. It's a multi-volume thing.
Isn't there a witch's tree or something in Jersey?
Devil's Tree, it is less than 5 minutes from my house. It is like... Actually, I can walk to it. It's pretty close.
Wow. Brittany actually came from the East Coast.
Yay.
She knows all that stuff.
I'm sorry.
Where on the East Coast?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, where I grew up.
Sorry.
Yeah, I am also doubly sorry.
Where in PA?
Reading.
Oh, okay. I grew up in New Hope.
Okay. Well, yeah, I pretty much know.
I figure it's like, Lupus probably has no idea, but if you're from Reading, I would think you know New Hope.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place. It's full of bikers, Wiccans, and gays.
Wow, there's actually...
And ghosts.
Yes, the one tiny spot in Pennsylvania.
And unfortunately, yuppies moved in.
Aww.
They ruined everything.
Yeah, it's turned into a giant tourist trap from when I grew up there in the 90s. It was kind of a tourist trap that it's just gotten worse.
Aww.
Ever since the medieval sword dealer went out, it just went downhill.
Aww.
Which one? They've gone through several.
Ever since they stopped having one.
The giant Renfo.
I know you guys were looking at doing some road trips. I will say, if you guys ever make it out this way, let us know. I can set you up with plenty of haunted sites to come check out.
Oh, that'd be great. That's definitely something we want to do more of. Just have to find the spots.
Can we please look for the New Jersey Devil?
Yes, obviously.
Yes.
Just definitely to call that one in with park rangers.
Yeah. You've had zero luck with park rangers. You don't make us.
In particular, I'll say, if you guys ever get up that way, worth checking out the Warren's Occult Museum in Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, that would be something I'd really love to take a look at. So many things.
Drew, forgive me now if anything goes down when I say what I'm about to say, but yeah, the place to go see the actual Annabelle doll.
And we are still streaming. Nothing has happened. We are just fine.
Now, back at the radio show days, we were talking about the Annabelle case one time, and the entire radio show cuts out. When we get it back up, we have a bunch of listeners chat in because we had a chat going during the radio and tell us they could hear a little girl laughing just before everything cut out.
See how many times you can say that. See if we can get anything. I'm getting nothing.
So creepy.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I've had enough experiences with that doll without I haven't actually gotten up to go see it, which is what really annoys me.
I haven't even seen you. You're still messing with me.
But no, the guy I did the show with, Lou Gentili, was actually the last student the Warrens taught before Ed became sick and then passed away.
I remember hearing that one of your videos. That is, to me, that's pretty impressive to train under someone like that, who's also trained under Ed Warren. That's just like, wow.
Yeah, Lou's sadly a person I keep meeting people like Drew, and if we were still doing the radio show, he'd want to have you guys on there. I can tell you that. It's something that I know him. It would have amused him. It's kind of it's a little late, but somewhere up there he's looking down and laughing. Actually, one night doing EVPs at a convention. See, when investigators get bored, this is what we do. We go back to our hotel room and we do EVPs. I actually got him to come through.
Really?
Yes. Whenever we did investigations, he always asked the same question, and he always got the same answer on EVPs. He'd ask, "Are you a human spirit? Have you ever lived?" Being a demonologist, we mostly deal with inhuman spirits, demons, things like that. And it would always go, "Yes, asshole." So we're doing EVPs, we're starting to get some response, and I get this feeling of a presence that I can recognize, and it feels like him. So I go, okay, I think I know who this is. If it is who I think it is, I'm going to ask a question. I want you to answer the way they used to answer you. I ask, are you a human spirit? Have you ever lived? You get this male voice starts laughing, and then, yes, asshole. I do have that. I'm going to try and play that on a future show.
That would be really cool to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I something to hear this. I feel left out.
Yeah.
You gotta time me in here.
Yeah. Drew, I'm going to do a bunch of EVPs with you in person in the near future. Don't feel too left out. Because, yes, I have that recorder that they based the spirit. Like I said, I have the recorder that he used. And Lou was... You drop the man like in a field in the middle of nowhere at 4 o'clock in the morning. He could produce EVP. In fact, I think somebody did that at one point, or at least it wouldn't surprise me.
There you go.
It's like, here, go get EVPs. And it's literally, we'd get bored and we'd sit around his house doing EVP in the middle of the night. Which, for my listeners, I don't recommend doing that.
I feel like it's something that you would end up doing. Because I'm bored. See what happens.
Have you guys thought of doing that?
No. What's that?
Have you guys thought of actually trying an EVP?
We did it. We tried it once. With some of our Virginia City videos, and we got I think a couple. I guess they could be kind of questionable. We got a couple of things that sounded interesting. But that is something that to really more consider doing. I know I have the recorders. I just have to bust them out and probably replace the batteries by now. But yeah, it's something we'd like to do more of too.
Well, it's one bit of advice I have, and you sort of follow it already. It's like, when you can do this stuff, do it in somebody else's house. Because then if it shows up later, they get to deal with it.
You are at my house. I'm sorry, at least it's not mine.
And I'm out.
That sucks. Bye. I gotta go to my safe home.
This is not safe home.
It's always safe.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, this house right here is totally safe.
I know the roommate video. I know Sarah and Shandon both mentioned hearing sounds and all that. I haven't heard anything.
You never hear anything.
No sounds, no weird feelings. I can walk around the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, no problem.
You also don't notice girls without clothes on, so no.
Wait, there's a story here.
A little pro.
There's a couple stories there.
So wait, he's not noticed naked women more than once?
Yes.
So okay, there's twice. So we the first time we went to Anime Expo, and apparently I'm so distracted by all the cool things going on, and apparently this girl was like around us for a while, but he was dressed as Felicia from Darkstalkers, and apparently it was the costume where it's like you couldn't.
She was wearing pasties.
I never saw her. Never. I was so distracted by everything else. I never saw her. The other one is I was at work, and a friend of mine who's also a coworker there. We were walking. I'm talking to him, and I'm just talking and talking. I noticed he's acting really weird. He's like, "Dude, this thing." I'm just like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Like, what's going on?" He wouldn't say anything. I'm going, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" And we finally get outside, and he's like, "Did you see that girl? She wasn't wearing a shirt. You could see everything in the store." I'm going, no, I didn't. What do you mean? He just like, man, you are oblivious.
That's why I don't trust him when he says he doesn't hear anything or see anything. No. No.
It's like, for all you know, Lupus, when you did the hosting ritual, you may have had ghosts dancing right all around you. You just didn't notice.
Probably, yeah. I can imagine just like one of those like cartoony things where I look one way and they duck behind something, and look the other way, and then that one moves.
They're really just going, man, this guy's just clueless.
No, it reminds me of in River Soul Suspect, the ghost in front of the camera who's just talking to the camera, and the guy recording doesn't notice. That's what I think of when I think of you.
That's exactly me.
I know that game. Good. I love that game. My problem with it was I beat it in like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's really short.
Yeah. Very, very short. Good, but very short.
Oh no, it's a great game. It's just too short. And that was the worst of it. It's like, if it wasn't such a good game, I wouldn't be as annoyed about how short it was. Because it's like, no, I want more. Evil tease. So I'm still racking my brain here. Do you guys have any questions?
Suddenly they're stumped.
I thought it'd be interesting to see.
No, he doesn't. Honestly, at the moment, I don't. But I know the moment that like we end the call and everything, that's when I'll be able to be like, I now have like 20 for you. Yeah, it's gonna be like message going, I do this, that. I just thought of these. That's how it always works, man.
Well, you have my Facebook. You're free to contact me there, and we can I think we will do this again. This is a lot of fun.
Awesome, yeah.
Drew, how about you? Can you think of anything?
No.
I will say, actually, it's the last one I listened to before we started, and I listened to it again. I just wanted to say man, I just listened to it, and I'm blanking on the name. Let me see if I have it still. No, of course I don't still have it open. There's one, not a ritual, but it's one of the readings that you did, and in fact, it's one of your stories about the survivor.
Yeah. That's what happens after.
Yes, that's the one. Well, I was just saying, for start, I thought it was very, very good.
Thank you. That one, I think we actually wrote back when we were doing the writing group.
I don't know. I don't listen to your narration.
She's like, I live this stuff.
I don't watch your videos.
Isn't that nice?
The co-host.
She's not a subscriber.
I am a subscriber.
Not a watcher.
I apologize, Kevin. I've not actually subscribed to your channel.
I know that you did, Lupus. Thank you for that.
To be fair, I don't actually have a YouTube account set up. Because for some reason my Google doesn't connect to it.
That's weird.
It's a school Google, so maybe? It just redirects me in an endless loop of log in again, log in again, log in again.
Sounds about right.
That's just weird.
It makes sense with programming.
But no, actually, I was going to say as well, with what happens after, it's like, having known a lot of people, obviously a lot of people in that position where it's like, the house is exorcised, the demons are gone. Yeah, you're tapping into some of the mindset of just like, is it coming back? And I've fielded calls from clients who are like, okay, you were out here, you did the house blessing, is it going to come back? I heard the footstep. Is it back? And it's like delicately trying to say the floor is settling. Go ahead.
I'm glad you like that one. That was one where I think I kind of, I guess, got a little bit inspired with how I would feel if something like that happened to me. Because I've kind of talked with you guys a little bit, like, I've never really had anything crazy happen to me, but if that moment happened where I'm like, oh wow, this is real, this is here, I don't have any way to, be skeptical now, this happened, I feel like that would kind of be my world, where it's like the world's now shattered. It's like, how do I, just go on knowing that there's, demons, ghosts, monsters, they're out there now.
Just roll with it.
Apparently, just roll with it.
If you only have one experience, it's pretty easy just to go, and continue on.
It also depends on the type of experience you have.
Mine is small. Tiny.
Yeah. If you have the experience where you're staying in a hotel one night and you just see a woman like walk through your wall and into another wall, and that's the only thing that ever happens, you kind of go back to the way it was. If your best friend gets possessed by a demon and you have to go through a lengthy exorcism, you're not going to go back to the normal world quite so easily.
Okay, which friend are we talking about?
Good point, Drew. He's got some interesting friends.
They tell better stories.
But and I think, and I was saying this before, just before we got started. My professional opinion, if you will, is you're going to have something happen eventually. Even being the paranormal cockblock that you are.
Yeah. I figure one day something will happen.
If I was going to put my money on it, I would bet, just because these things have a sense of humor, it'll be after you turn off the recorder.
The moment I hit that off button, that's when everything goes crazy.
Yeah, it's like, damn it, you get something incredible. And it's like, I just packed everything up. Because I've been there before, too. Or you may even get it on camera. I mean, I've gotten things on camera before, certainly. But a lot of the times, yeah, it's usually not when you're ready for it, and you're going to be by yourself, almost certainly. There's the great story, and if I had any way to access to the house, I'd almost say fly out here and I'll give you a ghost experience right now. There's a house in Maryland. Family buys this piece of property. Now, when they bought the property, they were going to build a house on it, which they did. And the thing is, Maryland has a very high water table. If you try to dig a basement, bad things are going to happen to your house. So they just built the house. They built a bit of a crawl space. Now, one day, the wife decides she wants to dig herself a garden. She, first thing that comes out of the ground is a brass handle. She thinks this is really strange, but she keeps digging. The next thing to come out of the ground is a human femur bone.
Oh,
At one point, the dog has it in its mouth and is running around the yard.
Oh.
Turns out the people they brought the land from bulldozed the tombstones, left the bodies. They didn't even move the tombstones very far. I wasn't on this case. My mentor was, which is where I know the story. They just basically bulldozed them into the creek behind the house. You can still go out there and see them. But Lou was with Loaded Magazine, which is a magazine from England that was doing a story on him. Brought the reporter to the house. Said, okay, you want to see a ghost? Okay. Sets her down in one of the bedrooms where a lot of the activity was going. Turns around and starts walking away. It's like, but wait, where are you going? Well, you want to see a ghost? Yeah. Well, your best odds are if you're by yourself. The woman, I don't know, I'm not even sure if she ever said exactly what happened to her, but I know other reporters we ran into later were like, yeah, she said she had a great time filming with Lou and would never do it again. Because of what happened in that room. And go ahead.
That just reminds me of kind of the story that one of my coworkers told. That apparently there was a really haunted house over in Woodland, which is nearby. Mm-hmm. And he'd go out there with his friends a lot, and it's one of those where you go out there and something happens, and then he has a skeptic friend that's like, no, that's not, no. So he goes, okay. You want to do it? Let's go. I'll take you there right now. You're going to change your mind. He's like, whatever. So, takes him out there. And it's like one of those where it's that long driveway down to the middle of the nowhere house. Mm-hmm. Drops him off at the driveway. Guy goes off. He pulls out. He's going around something. 5 minutes later, he gets a call going, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. And he comes back. It's like, you weren't even there 5 minutes. What do you see? I'm like, I walked right up to that house, saw a black figure with red eyes, and I booked it. He's like, well, I told you.
Dudleytown. There's a town in Connecticut. I've never been there, mostly because, Ed Warren in particular got in a lot of trouble with the guy who owns it. Lou got in trouble for being associated with Ed, and now because the guy who owns it knows I'm associated with Lou, he'll never let me set foot on the property. But
leaves me open.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
And I'll put it like this. Seasoned investigators like Lou Gentili, or for that matter John Zaffis, who used to host Hunt and Collector, don't spend more than 15 minutes in Dudleytown.
Wow.
The story goes, and I don't know all of the details, but supposedly this place was abandoned overnight because of the activity. And nobody lives there. I do know that, Boy Scout troops have tried to camp out there and required helicopters to take them out.
Wow.
There's another one in Texas called Swedesville. Mm-hmm. It was a town that was also, if memory serves, abandoned very quickly, almost overnight. In this case, basically, it was the site of a cult, bunch of ritualistic killings. And it's a freaky, you go out there, you're going to see something kind of place. So these places are certainly out there. They're just, it's like most of the time if you internet search the really active, you won't find the active stuff. Go ahead.
Is it bad my first response is challenge accepted?
Challenge accepted. I know, leave me down.
If we can work it out, I'd love to. I've always wanted to go to Dudleytown.
It sounds right up our alley.
Yeah. Group road trip.
Where are you guys located?
California.
Oh, that's a little further.
We have a little further to drive, but it's possible. It is possible.
So you hop
further to drive.
We probably take a plane. That might be
not driving across the desert and the mountains. No.
And then the hours upon hours of just fields.
We're pretty close to Newark Airport. You just fly right in. We can drive up.
There you go.
It's about, I think, no, actually, from PA it was 3 hours, so it's probably less than 3 hours to get to Connecticut from here.
Yeah,
it isn't that bad.
It's not that far. Our states are also shorter on the East Coast. Doesn't make you 2 days to go through California.
So if you hit rush hour just wrong, you could spend 2 days going through.
Oh yeah. There you go. Hit Dudleytown, the Warren Museum, Union. They're all fairly close to each other in Connecticut. Get plenty of material for both shows.
Oh, yeah. Definitely worth a trip.
Hopefully we'll find something.
I'm pretty sure. We'll get you out. I guarantee, Drew, we'll get you out sooner or later, and you will have more experience aside from the one that you have had.
Just note that there's a decent chance we're just going to be like, nah, device error.
Now, I'm curious, because I know you mentioned it once before. What was the experience that you had?
Alright, so I'm staying with my family in a castle in Scotland. It was awesome. Off-season, it's about a tenth of the price that it normally would be, and no one was there.
Nice.
We had the castle to ourselves and the groundskeepers. So, we have dinner in their dining room, which was awesome. The entire place is decked out, fully Victorian. Last time it's been renovated. So, we're sitting there, start taking a picture. Set up the camera, and I put it on a quarter-second exposure. Take the picture, step back, and take the picture. From every source of fire, every candle, despite whether or not the candle was blocked by a chair or not, and was actually in frame, there's a squiggly line the same color as fire going up. They also came out of the fireplace, which was also not lit. So I showed this to my photography professor, going, "What is this?" To which her response is, "Oh, well, you take the candles and you lift them up and you shake them like that, and you take a long exposure." I was like, "That's a quarter-second exposure." Huh. So that was one of my experiences that's like kind of harder to deny.
Anyhow, when I say you'll have an experience, I don't just mean with the devices.
True.
Yeah.
But I can easily write off that. Oh, well, I didn't sleep enough. Oh, too much gas.
And now I'm just thinking of Scrooge and, ate a bad piece of figgy pudding or whatever it was when he first sees the ghosts.
Yeah, that's me.
No.
Something strange enough happens, it'll shake you, trust me. Heck, having seen this, probably one of the weirder experiences I've had is obviously going through all of the ones I've had would take way too long. In a house, didn't know it at the time, person winding up being possessed.
Oh.
It wasn't the first time I've seen it, although actual possession is pretty rare. I've only seen it a few times. And this woman we're talking to just drops onto the floor and starts writhing about. Now, that by itself sounds like a seizure. In fact, the woman suffered seizures. The point it gets weird is when, despite not being a small woman, we could see her ribs pressing against her skin, and they start moving independently of each other, like a snake.
That's creepy. Yeah, that would be like the moment where I go, I'm out. You guys got this, right? I'm done.
That was one of the nights I was glad to have an exorcist with me.
Yeah.
She also, I didn't know it at the time because I was mostly trying to deal with what the heck is happening right now. She apparently started speaking in, I forget, Father told me later, but it was one of the biblical languages. It's like, yeah, that isn't that you didn't get enough sleep, Drew.
One of those, I had to see it.
Yeah, which is fair.
I'm not saying I won't believe whatsoever, but I am going to say that 80% of things that might be written off as fears, I'm going to be like,
And it is the reality that, trust me, there's plenty of things that people think are spirits that aren't. We had a conversation a while back about automatism and the Ouija board.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
Oh, that is one where I definitely think it's more subconscious than anything else.
And it is. And for those who don't know the term, basically automatism, or sometimes called the ideomotor effect, is muscle movements that are happening on a subconscious level. They're so minute you don't notice them. It's what makes the planchette move. It's what makes the pendulum swing. The pencils in the Charlie Charlie game, that's what makes them move. And the overwhelming majority of the time, that's what's going on. Now, there are exceptions. I mean, certainly, ideomotor effect doesn't explain when nobody's hands are on it and the planchette moves on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody has to be touching the thing or something else has to be going on.
How
but the majority...
far?
Sometimes pretty dramatically. It depends on the situation. Although I have to say, it's not paranormal, but the thing that amuses me the most about watching you guys do the Ouija board is the complete lack of response you usually get.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, at least for myself, I'm really focused on, like, I don't want to move it. I'm not trying to like hold it down, but I'm really focused, like, you may want it to move, but no.
Blame the one time saying, I moved it. I didn't move it.
And then you throw your hands up. It's like, God, you're not supposed to do that.
I remember that.
Then again, I get really skeptical with that, though. Yeah.
And let me say, as an investigator, that's good. Hold on to that.
That was my favorite part of your videos.
Yeah.
The skepticism and the complete aspect.
That's part of my favorite part as well, actually. The two things I like best about your videos and why I recommend people watching this go check them out is, one, the fact that you take a skeptical mindset and you don't just jump, oh, the pencil's moved a little, it must be a ghost. The other part is just the fact that you play it straight. There are times I'm sitting there and I'm watching the video and I'm going, it would be so easy to have one of your friends, jump out of the closet or something and go boo, and do some kind of cheap jump scare. And I very much respect the fact you don't do it.
Yeah, that was one thing that we really tried to focus on, is we want it to be legitimately real. We don't want to fake it or anything like that. If nothing happens, then nothing happens. She was planning on scaring me once, though. She came so close to doing it. It's for the elevator game. I don't know if you guys saw that video.
I just wanted you to freak out. It's like, what if I just get on? When I run down, I'm just gonna
yeah, because one of the things that at the 5th floor, after you do this stuff, a woman's supposed to get on, but you can't talk to her. She was, that was her plan. She was gonna let me get on there, run up to the 5th floor, wait for me to get on there, and just walk on.
Because you can't talk to me.
No, because I'm like, I don't know if that's Brittany or not. It could be that whatever it is. I don't know.
I'm like, that's so much effort.
To play devil's advocate on that, maybe you should have. For all you know, that was the ritual motivating you to do that, so that the woman would get on.
No, the elevator's super fast, and I'm terrible with stairs. So no.
Fair enough. Although you have to go, the confessions time, that is one of the rituals I've tried. That and Bloody Mary are the only ones. And it takes a while because you have to go through all those floors before you go to 5.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any luck with the elevator game? No. Yeah.
Of course, I did actually hit the finish it. I hit the 5, and no woman got on, and I just went, I'm not bothering to finish this. Nothing's going to happen.
The ritual's already broken.
At that point.
It's a little harder right here to find elevators that go up that high because California, there's quakes. None of our buildings are tall.
It's bad to go to San Francisco for it.
I have to say that I was actually very happy you did that ritual because it's one of my favorites.
It's a good one. I like that one. It's a very interesting one.
I enjoyed your sleepover set.
Oh, that was fun.
Doing all of those as a kid. They never worked.
Yeah, I actually got the light as a feather, stiff as a board to work when I was a kid. But as you said in the video, it's purely distribution of weight.
My cousins were too weak. We could lift no one, ever.
I just remember the one Halloween party I had as a kid. We did it. I remember this one friend of mine from high school who was there. We actually got him to like waist height, and then we all kind of freaked, and half the people there dropped him.
Oh, it's what I was scared.
Do they drop head side? Like side to side?
Like the whole
first?
left side of his his body just
At
went.
least it wasn't the head that dropped.
Alright, I feel bad. I don't know.
It's a fun experience to do, and I like the way that we did it because it's a little different than most of the other versions I've seen. Because what we did is first, you get all around the body, and the person at the head tells the story of how the person died, and then you start doing the light as a feather, stiff as a board, and you lift them up. But yeah, it's purely. And there's another version of it where you can have somebody sitting in a chair and 4 people can lift them.
I've seen that one, yeah.
What?
And it's a parlor game. It's not actual paranormal.
If it was one person lifting it up with one hand, then maybe.
Yeah. And that person should start fighting crime.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. The other ritual you did that's another one of my favorites is 11 Mile.
Oh, yeah. I like that one, too. That one was actually pretty relaxing. You know, because I'm just driving in the dark. It's like oh, yeah. I'm looking lost. No, I kept actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm surprised.
I was surprised, too. Saw a deer, too. That was
nice.
The highlight of the trip?
That pretty much was the highlight. I'm like, oh, dear, that's so... I think you could kind of make it out on the video and like point out at it and everything. But it's pretty dark there. But,
which is, of course, the idea.
If I actually found that road, I'd be so screwed. Because I'm like, I know all this stuff, and I'm just going to drive and die. I'm going to die at like mile 3. This is the safe mile. Nope, I'm going to stall here and die.
And of course, the worst part there is your car might have been stuck in that other reality, so we may never have seen the video footage.
Yeah. He just drives off into nowhere and it's gone.
Hey, every once in a while you do get even some famous people have completely. There's the one famous writer from the 1800s just vanished off the face of the face of the earth. Nobody ever saw him again, heard from him again.
Okay, but that is the gothic ideal right there.
Yeah.
Of course he's gonna disappear. I mean, also, do you know how easy it was, or rather how difficult it was in the Victorian era to find someone? You could take a trip 3 miles down and no one would find you, ever.
Point. It was like a horror. I want to say Algernon Blackwood, although I think I'm wrong. It was actually a horror writer, and it was just, I thought, a neat ending to this well-known person's horror career. They just vanished and were never seen again.
Honestly, I'm surprised H.P. Lovecraft didn't do that himself, but...
Yeah. Or go insane.
I don't think...
His days.
I think Lovecraft just kind of kicked it a little earlier than he was expecting.
He died under slightly unusual circumstances, I want to say, but not like paranormal. It was more like a weird disease.
Well, yeah, but... I mean, antibiotics were still kind of like a...
Yeah.
So...
It just makes me think, one of the ones that had a legitimately odd death, although there's a bunch of theories of it, Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I know Poe had the odd one.
Though they do have the one interesting theory that might explain it, I read recently. Because, there's a couple of days that he went missing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he showed up completely out of it. The common theory, of course, is that he was a known alcoholic, and supposedly he was just drunk out of his mind.
Also opium.
Yeah, opium as well. But the thing is, by the point in his life that happened, as far as everyone who knew him knew, he was actually on the wagon. Because he went through periods of sobriety and alcoholism. And he was actually a part of the the teetotaler movement, trying to ban alcohol and things like that. So there's an alternate theory that at some point he may have been bitten by a wild animal, and what actually happened is it was untreated rabies.
Oh.
I mean, nobody knows for certain if it's true, but I know it was suggested by a medical doctor who read over the symptoms of how he was behaving when he died and went, wait a minute, this sounds like somebody at the last stages of rabies. And again, time period.
Yeah, there's not much they can really do. Oh yeah, Cat.
It's Freya.
Who's decided to come join us?
Yeah, Freya. Freya. Come on over here on the camera.
That makes me happy. So many levels.
She's like right at the corner of it and just won't. Nope. She said nope. I like the spot over here off camera. I'm gonna flick my tail at you and be done with it.
See, now I'm just thinking of Mouse from the Dresden Files.
Oh
Yeah.
Specifically, Ghost Story. With him reacting to Harry.
yeah. I think one of my favorite Mouse things was the first book he was introduced. That's the last line. He's got the little puppy, and it's the end of it going, "Hey, why did you buy the big dog food?" And next book, oh my god, you turned into a man.
And it's interesting, just because, he's supposed to be a food dog, and looking up pictures of Caucasians, the breed of dog that's mentioned, yeah, it looks like a food dog. Granted, I read somewhere that they're actually supposed to have been lion statues or something to that effect, and it's translation goofiness that got them named dogs.
Yeah, I believe so.
You'll bet a lot more than I would.
I know random things.
She researches a lot more than I do.
Search random things.
Drew, can you weigh in on that one since he's my research?
Okay.
Research. There you go. There can be your title.
See
Research.
the pile of books he left me.
Oh, goodness.
I think that last one is actually your book, Drew.
No, that last one. No, that actually, the last one was mine. Okay, I'll admit, this one was mine.
Oh, werewolves.
Werewolves, witches, and wandering spirits. Well, it sounds like a tabloid is actually an academic series of essays.
Nice.
We still need to set up to have you do the reading of the werewolf trial.
Yes. Okay, so it's atypical for any werewolf trial. It was in Livonia, and for the viewers, I am so sorry for the redundancy here. But they bring this guy in, old guy, because you have a German Inquisitor show up, and he starts hearing everyone go, "Oh yeah, that guy's a werewolf, no problem." What? Yeah, he's a werewolf. Ask him. Go and ask him. I'll tell you. And so they bring the guy in. Are you a werewolf? Yes. So you're a witch? No. We fight witches. As in, we witches steal crops, and we get them back from hell. What? This makes no sense. Okay, so you're telling me that they steal the crops, and when they steal the crops, it destroys the harvest. Meaning the crops aren't actually there when when they're stolen. You wouldn't get this, you silly German. And so they go back and forth, and eventually, the end conclusion is, you really need to go to church. That's all I'm saying. Just go to church, and don't initiate anyone new. Just leave it at that. Go to church.
Not quite the worst fate of being brought before the Inquisition.
To be fair, by the point that this trial was done, the Inquisition was
actually
generally not that bad. Unless you're in Spain. Oh god. The Spanish Inquisition was still horrible. That's a political tool, not a...
Yeah.
I always find it funny. I'm the Christian, and he knows more about a lot of Christian history than I do. I'll freely acknowledge that.
It turned out that the school I went to had mostly church historians. Who would have known?
They're the ones who documented really well.
Except the Vikings. They did not do such a good job on the Vikings. Yeah. I mean, they claimed berserkers would transform into bears and would were completely impervious. At
Maybe they chose to look at the face.
At least the Norse sources mention that they had a period of vulnerability.
They never figured that one out, though.
That was a hidden secret.
I turned into a bear, and I only had one, like vulnerability. I'm not telling anybody what that thing is.
Oh, it's that after you went full bear and destroyed everything, that you'd have to sleep for 3 days. And when you're sleeping, you're vulnerable.
Generally.
Well, story I'm spreading is after I go on my rampage, I hibernate for a bit, but no, I'm aware and I will kill you. Don't go into my lair at all. See me sleeping. Totally able to kill you.
So is
my plan.
The obvious question is there a ritual for this for Lupus to try?
God, I'm sure that there is.
Yeah, there is.
But is there one that won't just kill you because it involves poison?
No. No, honestly, the unguents and bearskins. But you need a bearskin and bear fat. You need to know a bear hunter in order to actually do the ritual.
See, I said it was a bearskin. It's like a werewolf one.
Oh, yeah.
There's ulcerkers, too, which are werewolves. Fighter people-y things.
Yes.
Berserkers except with wolves instead of bears.
I know that there's one big, werewolf thing where you get, a whole bunch of things together, and then you drink this one thing, but I consider one of the ingredients in that is hemlock? That's not happening.
There's a couple of medieval rituals that usually involve, belladonna, aconite. It's like, yeah, on the one hand, this will kill you. 2, if you get very lucky, you get the dosage just right, it won't kill you, but you'll hallucinate.
See, that's the point.
You just
actually
walk in.
Measurements.
You just walk in on me, just in the middle of the room, going.
So I just shut the door and walk away. Walk away.
And to the camera, it didn't work, but you know it was real.
Nobody else saw what I saw.
Might be better than standing underneath the moon.
Yeah. We got some weird look. We did you guys might have seen the werewolf spell.
I did.
We did that twice, and the second time we did it was just right out front of the house here, while people went outside to go look at the cool moon. So they're like, "Oh yeah, look at that sun! You know, what the heck are they doing?" Whereas it was like going chanting, "We'll turn to the cunning beasts," and they're just like, "Go inside, I need to call someone."
Never do in front of your own house. Do in front of a different neighbor's house.
The one you don't like.
Luckily, we have some cool neighbors, and Sarah is very diplomatic. They're not crazy, they're just YouTubers.
They can always just show the link.
I don't know if that's that, but that's much better, though.
No, it's not.
Still, go inside.
I assume, just for the record, you haven't started sprouting hair yet.
No.
We also haven't joined any of the wolf packs.
We've had offers, but no, we're holding out for the right one.
Good choice. So, have you had much watching the videos? I have to expect this. Have you had much experience with, shall we say, the true believers?
It's mostly people call them fake.
Yeah, we've gotten called fake a lot. I know one guy called me an ignorant ghost facer.
It's my favorite.
Props to the supernatural reference at the least.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll just kind of I'll be a ghost facer.
But you're disproving things.
That's what confuses us the most. The first Ouija board video, if you take a look at the comments, you'll see a bunch of just fake, this is fake, this is totally fake. And I'm going, nothing happened. Are you saying that we faked it it was too real and we had to fake it being real? being fake.
Yeah.
We had to fake nothing happened.
The only thing I can think of that logically, the only thing they could mean, and I assume that no, they don't mean this, would be that something real did happen, and you're faking nothing happening.
Yeah, this is too much for the internet. We
I'm
have to
just
cover
gonna
this up.
assume they didn't watch the video.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest one. But we had a few comments and people.
I think I got in an argument with one guy who was like true believing, and I was just like, first he called me a child. I'm like, wait, I'm 25. I think I'm not a kid.
This one.
We were just like going back and forth for a while over contacting students and stuff. He's like, you guys don't know what you're messing with. I'm like, I'm pretty aware of what I'm doing.
And hey, Nick, if somebody does this again, you can always go, yeah, but now you know who to contact if the excrement really does hit the fan.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you were right. You were right.
To you, my pointing to you guys, it made no sense, but I'm sure the viewers can see that I'm actually pointing Kevin.
Yeah, your gestures are maybe the only ones that make sense to the viewers. What do you think about it? Because it's your screen that the capture's coming from.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Black cat, no, let's say appropriate.
Yeah.
I grabbed mine, but I don't know where he is. His name's Merlin.
But no, I remember I had a bit of a disagreement on your discussion area with someone who was convinced that the orbs that were showing up in some of your videos were ghosts.
Yeah.
We get that a lot.
It's like, no, it's dust. It's really just dust.
That's why I don't really, maybe like some orbs are something, but again, it's my skeptic kicking in. Just no, it could be dust. It could be this. It could be too many things.
Honestly, we can make orbs right now.
Yeah, quite easily. I'll put it like this. As the token believer of the group, and someone who's had direct experience with demons, ghosts, angels, elementals, and everything else, orbs are dust. They are not. They're not spirits. The one caveat I will put on that is if you actually see the little flying balls of light with your naked eye, okay, that's not dust.
Smoke gas.
Smoke gas.
No, smoke gas. Oops.
Yep, I saw it.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh, you've got a couple like floating around. That's a nice effect.
Oh man, you need to get out of there. That's just haunted.
He knows The Exorcist too, so he can always go.
Oh, there you go.
But it was one of our recurring things when we did the radio show. Lou hated the whole orb. It's like, it's not a controversy. It's there are the people who have any idea what they're talking about, and the ones who think it's ghosts.
It's ghosts, right?
It's always ghosts.
It's always ghosts. Or aliens.
Yes, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
That didn't
They were
have dark background.
Definitely, Drew said it. I've said it, and I'll say it again. I like the fact that you take the skeptical angle on it, as well as the okay, let's just test it and see what happens. I would hold on to that, especially because you're going to get people. You're going to, as time goes on. I'm surprised you haven't gotten more of them, quite frankly. Get the true believers that are going to insist they saw something in your video.
We already have some of that though, because
they're not super bad, but they're still like, I saw this, I saw that, and I'm like, no.
And I'll go back and I'll look. It's like, because I'll put the link in there, like, I saw this shape at this moment here. I'm like,
that's a shadow.
No, I can't see anything. I'm okay.
Okay, so if you get an anonymous person that's starting to say this, I'm not saying it might be me, but it might be me. Just for funsies.
It could be. We could wind up just trolling each other's videos for the fun of it. Anonymous account.
Weird. I spent 10 minutes looking for it.
Because Because I will go back if somebody mentions it. Like, I'll go back, I'll look, and I'm like, there's nothing there. Oh wait, you're just commenting about the fact you saw an upskirt. Fuck you, guys. I hate you. No thanks.
Well, I think the other thing you're running into there is just it's the brain's pattern recognition software running again. They saw a weird collection of images and the fact that maybe the video's running a little slow for them. They saw something that isn't there because they're looking for something that isn't there.
And trolls.
Oh, good heaven, yes. And not just the Scandinavian version.
Oh, the Scandinavian trolls.
You got to keep in mind, Drew, with us doing this show, sometimes you need to be specific because there are different types of trolls we could not possibly be talking about.
Yeah, but I'm safe from the Scandinavian trolls. Not being a Christian child, I'm good. That's who they eat.
Also, don't look at the hole in their back, considering there's certain trolls.
This way, check around.
Yeah.
Anytime there's one, make sure you give them a full hug and just check the back.
Yes, don't look at it.
You never kiss a girl before you've checked her back.
Yeah.
Advice for life.
This is probably off topic, but the idea of troll just reminded this story that I think I listened to it a while ago. But the whole thing was, this kid gets told, don't ever go off into the woods alone. Don't ever go off into the woods alone. Eventually, he's like, I'm gonna go off into the woods alone.
Of course.
So he ends up in getting lost and going over this bridge, very classic, and then he encounters a troll. And at first he's terrified of this troll. He's terrified of this thing. And the troll's like, no, trolls, we just, trolls eat, plants and, berries and nuts and all this stuff. Except this one troll. This one troll named I think it was like Littlefinger. Littlefinger liked me. Littlefinger would eat kids. Littlefinger would do that. And the kid's like, he started to get more comfortable. He's like, oh, okay, I'm glad. So trolls don't eat kids. That's good. What's your name? He goes, my name's Littlefinger.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It was a good little twist right there. I like that one.
A troll trolling.
Yes.
I love it.
There's only one that eats people. It's me.
Which, of course, us being us, it's like you start to see it coming.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I see where this is going.
I've read too much horror. It's like, there's only the one, and it's like, you're the one, aren't you?
So I need to remove a small clip. I'm not sure if it's copyrighted or not, but it's less than 3 seconds. I might have thrown a GIF of Peter Baelish up.
Oh.
We'll work it out.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm pretty sure that's within copyright laws.
Well, we now have at least two people we could go to for editing these videos. One being Amisha and the other one being, I brought on an old friend of mine to do, basically she's helping out in whatever way she can. At the moment that's editing because my fiance is unfortunately unavailable. At least till tomorrow, thankfully. But we've got a lot longer than I originally intended.
Yeah,
Not that I'm complaining, I'm enjoying this
hours.
enormously.
Although, we should probably wrap it up for the viewers' sake.
Or we could always wrap up I'm certainly good if you guys want to chat some more, but yeah, I would think we should wrap up the official interview segment of it, as it were. Before we do, does anybody have anything they want to interject? Last words, final thoughts?
Thanks.
Thank you both so much for joining us. This has been an enormous amount of fun. We'll do it again.
Great. We had a lot of fun. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I had a lot of fun.
It speaks for me a lot.
I do.
I never introduced myself. I don't have to.
I'm still training him to do that.
She just nods and plots my murder.
But this time you got to introduce yourself.
One of these days you'll see a video going, hi, with a video, hi, Lupus Creepus here.
I mean, certainly anyone who watches your guys' videos will recognize you, Brittany. I'm certainly, okay, when you messaged me through Facebook the other day, it's like, okay, I know who you are. Since you seem to be the main partner in crime.
I've done the social networks mostly, and
better at it than I am.
Yeah, because like,
I don't do people.
I don't. I don't message back. I'm not mad or anything. I just forgot it existed.
Yeah, I figured it was that, or you're busy. I don't take it personally. Likewise, if I don't message, I'll usually message back pretty quickly by virtue of I'm at work 8 hours a night with nothing to do. Guess what? I'm often on Facebook.
My computer's frequently on, and I just don't see things.
But we're going to end the interview for the night, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Kevin Meares, the Paranormal Encyclopedia. I would, again, highly recommend, and we'll put a link in here for you guys to go check out Lupus Creepus's videos. They're an enormous amount of fun.